There was a trailer for the Mario movie.
Yes.
That was pretty sweet.
I'm going to contradict myself here.
Okay.
I often find myself defending the likes of us, self-interest.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, hey, it's okay if we talk about our nostalgia and our childhoods, and it's one of the ways we connect with our children and stuff. It is a little depressing, I'll admit, to see my YouTube feed filled, my recommendation feed filled with trailer reactions to the Mario Brothers movie, a movie made by Illumination for really kids the age of our kids.
Yes.
And it's just nothing but receding hairlines and wispy beards and aged, being like picking apart the Mario movie. And like,
Chris Pratt just sounds like Chris Pratt.
no, nobody does that for fucking Despicable Me 4.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
But the Mario, look, fair enough. The Mario IP carries with it, like Mario's
receding hairlines.
It carries with it receding hairlines. Couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, you're approaching Mickey Mouse territory,
Yeah. Yeah. And, it is, it is an IP that's this is going to make a gazillion dollars. Gazillion.
I think so
Especially
too.
because the trailer didn't look awful. Like it looks like they're really bringing their animation game. Like the textures of things look great. Like the style looks, what they presented looked great. Like
From what I saw, I didn't see any red flags. I saw really great animation that was on brand with all the established branding that I would say after Mario 64-ish, they started doing a really good job with, because you remember in the 80s and 90s, they didn't really have like Mario toy. In fact, I heard that there was some kind of Nintendo order at the time. It was like, our toys are the video games. So we're not going to sell a whole lot of keychains and plushies and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There was stuff of the time, but generally not so much.
Yeah,
But
there was a few things, but yeah, they looked like horror. Or they they looked weird. They were barely looked like Mario.
They hadn't really unified the brand. So at some point, they kind of really stuck to after the Charles Martinet voice was introduced and stuff. They kind of stuck to a brand. So this is all on brand, but I think they knew very intelligently that Mario himself, he's. The Charles Martinet version of him is kind of like a silent film actor. Like it's kind of, it's a more Charlie Chaplin kind of a Mario. That's just not going to hold your attention for an hour and a half. So he needs more character. And also the simplistic design, I think, is kind of like for video games. And so we knew they had to do a redesign, but we knew that it had to not deviate from that Mario that so well, that they've worked so hard to ingrain in your mind. And I bet you they went through 1 trillion versions of it, because especially after the Sonic debacle.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they landed on something that I heard people saying. It was the first thing that came to my mind too. Was like Fix-It Felix Jr. from Wreck-It Ralph. He's got that thing going on. That's sort of, it's like very firmly cartoon, but there's just a certain level of expressiveness that you can see. You can get a performance out of the character model now.
Yeah, and I think it fits Chris Pratt's everymanness a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like the face is a little broader. I'm gonna give. We barely heard Chris Pratt's voice. I'll give him benefit of the doubt, and I think this design will help his voice along.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I thought when he was doing going to the Mushroom King, Mushroom Kingdom, here we come. There's some pizzazz there. There's some pizzazz.
Yeah, I guess they're going for the Brooklyn thing, or I heard they were going, and that's really exciting because I think I've said many times my introduction to Mario was the Super Show. In fact, I saw the Super Show before I even played the game. I remember the first time I played the game, I was like, "Is this Mario from the show?" And people were like,
"If you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
You go to hell before you die." Your priest, your rabbi, all those guys, talk to them and don't go to hell before you die.
That just for those confused, that's was it Captain Lou Albano?
Captain Lou.
Yeah. And he's doing a drug PSA for like a local station, and he's just going off script.
And they got this other guy that was on the Super Show, these live action segments, and then they also voiced the animated segments, named Danny Wells, who did Luigi. And Nina the other day, she was like, what's the French side of your family? I was like, Pelletier. She was like, he looks just like a Pelletier. He looks like he comes from your, obviously they were going for an Italian thing, but I think that dude's French.
Yeah.
But anyway, I that's how I knew Mario, and I actually didn't like the hyper Italian ridiculous thing,
Yeah.
the Charles Martinet thing when I first heard it when I was a kid. I was like, I thought Mario was like a full guy, not like.
Yeah.
Not like, you know, like somebody who can spit out a few words during Mario Party and that's it.
Woohoo! Yeah, I was with you. I grew up with the Super Mario Super Show, the later cartoons,
Yep.
and knew him as a Brooklyn plumber. But yeah, and then once he was like a high pitched guy, I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But you were so amazed by Mario 64 that you were just going along with it.
So amazed by it.
And-
I can't believe how amazed I was by it. I remember like there was some magazine that showed like the first sprite and then like the you know Super Nintendo sprite and then this, and I was just like, whoa,
Yeah.
we've gone from this to this. I thought that was the apex of technology, Nintendo 64.
Yeah, I remember seeing like the pictures in the Nintendo Power, and I was walking in the mall and I saw it was way before the system was released. It was on a monitor in a random like store, like Sharper Image. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then
and for me it was Leechmere.
and it was just playing Mario swimming in the ocean. It looked so fluid and like natural. I was like, I had to do a double take. I'm like, Mario, what? That's real.
Yeah.
It was
And I had
crazy.
I had a it wasn't a Nintendo Power. It was like might have been like an early a Game Informer. I think it was Game Informer. That had like a you know in like 5 pages like a guide to every star, and I didn't even know what a star was yet, but I was just like, oh okay, the big bomb battlefield, okay. I got myself real hyped. I remember I didn't know whether or not my parents were going to get me an N64. Of course, it was at the top of my Christmas list. I remember calling toy stores as like a 10-year-old and being like, do you have any N64s? I would just like go to the phone book and dial them up
Yeah.
like almost daily for a while, just trying to
Yeah,
make the
my-
thing happen.
Yeah, I did similar things during because it was like during the it was either Tickle Me Elmo. It was Tickle Me Elmo. It was the same Christmas as that, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Yeah, that's
Tickle
right.
Me Elmo was a crazy hot item in Nintendo 64. So there was like some anxiety that you wouldn't get one.
Yeah. No, it was, if they couldn't get one, they couldn't get one.
But yeah, and then I remember Toys R Us. It was really exciting because the Toys R Us was like brand new. They just put a brand new Toys R Us in the mall, and right before the release of Nintendo 64, they had walls of TVs playing every game in the lineup. And I remember going up and seeing like the Big Bomb, and like somebody beat him and got the star, and Mario like does the peace sign. I was just like, it's crazy. It was like insane to see.
Yeah. No, it blew my mind.
And
So, yeah.
my son still my son loves Mario 64. I thought it wouldn't age well for kids because they have all the latest graphics on everything, but he's like, it's like there's something about like the motion, the music, the
Color
sound
palette?
design, the color palette. There's something about it that I think really is still very appealing.
like, there's something about those colors that like, maybe it wouldn't really work in like a Mario Odyssey, like where it's that polished, but you know, like Mario Odyssey is a little bit pastel, you know, a little bit.
Yeah.
Just those primary colors of like the fucking blue sky and the blue water and something about the sound font too. I recently was recommended on YouTube the Better Call Saul song in the Mario 64 sound font.
Yeah.
So as far as the trailer goes, yeah, like the whole opening with Bowser, super cool, and Bowser is right on brand too. Except they got him looking a little bit Jack Blacky with the slightly bigger jaw, like so it just kind of fits the Jack Black voice just a little bit.
Yeah.
Comedy
and
was
Jack
good.
Black is bringing it. He sounds like he's trying to be a Bowser. He's trying to
Yeah.
And like the Magic Koopa has a great voice, and
Yeah, Jack Black's not just like doing whatever he normally does.
no, he's trying to be Bowser. It's great.
Wait, you motherfucker!
I love the penguins too. That was such a good choice for the
Yeah.
kingdom he destroys.
It's got to feel video gamey. And then yeah, like the Mushroom Kingdom looked cool. The comedy with Toad looked good, where like maybe the mushrooms are dangerous. And finally, the look at the castle. The castle is perfectly on brand. Mario 64 on. So yeah, I think it's going to make I think it's just going to hit every quadrant. And I really am excited that they chose Illumination because, I don't know. Pixar kind of aspires to this like high art thing, and there's some misses lately. Disney animated, they're not going to mix with Nintendo anyway. But Illumination seems like the move. They make Despicable Me and the Minions, of course. But they also made The Grinch. They also made the Sing movies, which are really good. And what else have they done? The Secret Life of Pets. They make good movies over there for children. Actually. For children.
And I think if it was just a perfectly fine children movie styled all the way with Mario, I think it's gonna do amazing. And
but I think they're aspiring for a little more. Like I think they want it to be a children's movie first and foremost, but a really strong one.
Yeah, I think so.
And those Despicable Me movies are like that.
My kid's gonna freaking love it. I think it's just gonna.
We were saying, why are these idiots not releasing a video game with this thing?
Yeah, I like they announced the Nintendo Direct and they're like, we're not going to show any games during this, and I'm like, that's unfortunate. I think like if you released a game alongside it, and I think Sonic should do it too. Like Sonic should have a game come out with the movies. I think that would be just, you would make a ton of money. Just like a slightly Illumination themed with the the care that they put into Mario Odyssey. That would be awesome.
Yeah, with Sonic, it would be. I don't think Nintendo would ever do this because their game design philosophy has always been like start with the game, start with the fun, start with like the play, and then back into the story. But with Sonic, you could actually you could make the game some kind of sequel to the movie.
Yeah,
so you really tie it in.
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
you basically are saying like, to find out what happens to Sonic, go home and play our game. It'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I also don't think that they need to release. Like, yeah, it's like what we were talking about with streaming. With like, hey, you don't have to always release a 2-hour movie or a 9-episode series. You don't always have to release $60 games for these IPs. Like release a $30 game and have it be half the fucking game. But like.
Yeah, you could just release like a Bowser's Fury sized game.
Yeah.
But make it, the Mario movie themed.
And release them at Christmas and have a really together and have a really in the game like a sizable like winter Christmas kind of land or theme or something. Like really make some memories for kids around Christmas time. But they didn't do it, but they're going to make a cool movie, I think, and I'm really excited for that. It's obviously a treasure to Nintendo, and they have not wanted to move forward without something they feel really good about.
Yeah, not since the 1993 movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot the Donkey Kong's in this thing with Seth Rogen.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how
Nobody said a word about that.
No.
So he's gonna have to. He's gonna have to somehow overcome that ridiculous voice of his. I don't know how he's gonna do that. He kind of did it with with Pumbaa there. But yeah, he just kind of fits Pumbaa. Maybe that's the deal with maybe Donkey Kong.
Yeah, Donkey Kong is Seth Rogen's a little Donkey Kong-ish, I guess.
I blew Gloria's mind the other day. We were playing Donkey Kong, the arcade game, and then we played Donkey Kong Jr. And when she saw that Jumpman had captured Donkey Kong, she was just like, What's the good guys are the bad, and the bad guys are the good.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.